Do you know what sets you apart no matter how competitive your industry is? Something that cannot be duplicated. It's your story. No one has the exact experiences, no one has your perspective, your thoughts, or your personality. This is where sharing your brand and personal stories come into play. I'm Raejean Roberts, owner of Social Media Snapshots, and today I'm sharing the 3 secrets of why you want to share your stories. Stories stick, stories evoke emotions, and stories build connection. So let's jump right in. Do you know why history class has such a bad reputation? Because most history teachers have drilled in names and dates, just straight on facts. But when you get stories into those events and you fill in all the details, that's such a game changer. I learned more from a historical fiction series than I did probably all the history put together of every class I've ever taken. I remembered it more too because all those facts and names and events were wrapped up in a story. Stories stick in our minds more than facts and statistics. If you want a customer to remember you, add stories to your emails, to your social media posts, and to your marketing messaging. My email with the highest open rate so far was the story about my twins' birth. So those are the things that people connect with. Those are the things that are they catch people's attention and they want to do more with them. So be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications, and then we'll get right into the next secret. So the second secret ties right into the first. Why do stories stick with us? Why do we remember them so much better than straight up names and dates? Stories build that emotion. When we hear a good story, we can put ourselves right in the action. We feel the struggle. We celebrate the win. The more detailed description, the better. So authors are taught to show, not tell. What does that mean? So as an example, telling is, oh, she opened the barn door. It was dark inside. She didn't know if she wanted to go in. So that's telling you what's going on in that scene of the story. But showing is going to sound more like this. The door creaked open as she pushed against it. Unknown shapes lurked behind the dusty haze. Hesitantly, she stepped across the threshold. Am I telling you the same thing? Absolutely. Is one more interesting? Is one easier to have? Just even like reading it, to read the first one, she opened the door. Like, there's not any emotion in it, but just the words that we use or the tone that we can add when we are, on video or audio, we can add that emotion in our voice. But the words themselves, yeah, they have that action. They fill in the story of our minds, right? We can just, the difference between opening the door and pushing open the door is a huge difference. It was dark inside versus, ooh, there was shapes lurking in the dusty haze. These are different things. They fill in that picture so that you can get more embedded into what you're being told, into that story. So the second one, where you're showing the details instead of just going, this is a thing that happened. There was another thing. It was like, I think it was, Hitler was denied art class, and then one thing led to another. It's like there's no details there. It was all the details are where we can really hook onto it and grab onto that emotion. So instead of telling them the benefits of your product, bring them along the journey with you, with your stories about your brand or about why you made this product and how it helped you, and just all the stories that go around your product. So we just want to take them on a journey. You're like the leader, and you're like, come on, follow me. Let's go. Let's go see the cool thing. So tell me in the comments if that makes sense. If you understand the difference between showing and not telling. And then the third secret is that stories are memorable because they evoke emotion, and that emotion builds connection. And that connection is what builds communities. So everyone else might be repelled, and that's okay, because if you do it right, you're going to be including the people who are really going to benefit from your product. You're going to be attracting those people who resonate with what you're bringing to them, how you're serving them. Um, and also, if you do it right, it does kind of repel the people that you don't want to work with. Your product is not for everyone, and your stories and your messaging that can bring in the people that are going to benefit the most. And by using the same stories that attract some, it's going to naturally repel the others. So that is really a good thing. We don't want to sell to everyone. Our product isn't for everybody. Our product is for a certain group of people that are going to really resonate and value what we have to offer. It's like that story that the grandpa gave his grandson a watch, and he wanted his son to understand how valuable his watch was. So he's like, okay, I want you to take the watch to someone at a yard sale and ask them how much they would offer you for it. And he's like, oh, they said like $10. He's like, okay, now take the watch to a pawn shop and see how much they would pay for it. And he's like, okay. So he comes back and he says, oh, they would pay like $100 for it. And then he says, okay, now go take it to this specific antique watch collector and ask how much they would pay for it. And he's like, they would pay $10,000 for this watch. It's like, okay, the lesson here is it's the same watch. It's just which audience you're presenting it to. And that's the same with our stories. Our stories are, when they're presented, they're going to resonate. We want them to resonate most with those antique watch collectors who really understand the value of what we have to offer. Same watch, just a different audience. So we want to use our stories to catch people's attention and to build that emotion, and most importantly, to build that connection. When your stories are like a siren call to your people, and they will feel seen, they will feel understood and heard because you understand what they're going through, and your stories can demonstrate that. They want to know that you understand their challenges, and since you understand their challenges and what they've gone through and their struggles, now they know that they can trust you and that you found a solution and they want to follow you. So as much as we think otherwise, we make our buying decisions, we make so many of our decisions based on emotion, and then we can turn to logic to justify our decisions. But those stories that we're using, those brand stories that we're using, help us to get them to the point. They help us, to catch their attention, and then at that point they can decide, is that something that resonates with them? Does that do they build that connection with it? And so by focusing on the stories of our brand, yes, it can be uncomfortable. A lot of us, we don't want to talk about ourselves. We don't want to draw attention to ourselves, but it's those stories that do show a little bit of vulnerability that they are going to attract, and they're going to resonate with our people, because those stories of vulnerability are the ones that really have that emotion that will call in our people. So I want to, if you need help with your stories, Coach Melissa Pikul has an amazing gift guide challenge that she does every month. And even if you don't need a gift guide for your product, she focuses, she does a deep dive on the stories that we need for our businesses. It is time well spent in her challenge. So I will share that link in the description. Go ahead and click that now so that you can join her next challenge, and then I'll see you on the next video. Bye.